Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch. And on this episode, well, we'll get into that in a minute, but this is episode 150, which is a massive feat for us. And we're also close. It's a shame it's not quite married up, but we are...
It will.
Okay.
This episode will take it over.
Well, so that what Pete's referring to there is that we are about to hit, or we have now hit, 500,000 streams of the UK Surf Show in your ears. No doubt people will be asking for refunds for the hearing loss claims because of our absolute waffle. So this is a huge thank you to everyone that supported the show, to Pete and Leighton for bringing it into fruition, making it what it is, and then for me to just come on board and just waffle a little bit more in line with the show. So half a million streams is crazy, and that doesn't even take into account YouTube, social media, and all of that stuff. So wow, we are insanely stoked.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone that supported and sponsored us and helped us along the way as well. It's been absolutely awesome. Sounds like we're ending. We're not. We're getting into fire cabinet makers now. We've got Fraser.
We do. So this one we filmed, it might even have been a year ago, but it was April, I think, time.
Almost.
Part of the Lost Shore
almost
edition.
A year.
So good friend, Fraser Reid, you might know him from Instagram as Fire Cabinet Makers. Makes just amazingly talented guy. Does wooden surfboards, does all sorts of woodcraft, and you can go do experience days with him as well, build your own equipment and stuff. But so episode 150, we've got an amazing guest coming up for you. So yeah,
and I think he also can you get his boards at Lost Shore? Can you use his boards at Lost Shore?
Get his boards at Lost Shore. Yes.
I did see one up there because I may well be heading up to Lost Shore at some point again soon, and I may be surfing one of those, but. Yeah, come back after this and hear us what we've been up to, our shenanigans. I've been surfing, Mitch has been surfing, I've had a conversation with a seal, Mitch has had Watsits and Quavers in his curry, and all sorts of stuff.
Here we go. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm Fraser Reid, and my business is Far Cabinet Makers and Far Wooden Surfboards.
And I've been trying to get you on for quite some time, actually, which is so it's nice to have you on. I am fascinated with what you do. I don't know how many people do similar, and I don't just mean making wooden surfboards. I know you do workshops for people to come and make their own board. In fact, our founder, Andy Haddon here, came with his brother, and that's what he done. I think it was a 40th.
Yeah.
And he got his brother to come and shape his own wooden board as a birthday gift, and they just spent a weekend in their vans by the beach and stuff, which is pretty cool. So tell the people what it is you do.
Yeah, so I was trained as a bespoke furniture maker, and I'd been surfing for a couple of years at that point, and saw a wooden surfboard online one day, and I just kind of thought, how have I never put these two ideas together? And ended up going and doing a course down south to learn to make a wooden board for the first time, and that was the first kind of board I'd ever shaped.
Right.
Was that Otter?
No, it was with a guy called Paul Rice at Arbo Surfboards.
Ah, right, yeah.
It was actually in London when he was working as a boat builder. They were building the Queen's Barge at the time for the whatever Jubilee that was, and he had a weekend where he was just running a course for 3 days, so I went and did that.
I love the idea the Queen's Barge has got there's a surfboard shape missing out of the hull on the inside.
I actually had they had loads of offcuts because it was the boathouse in Richmond, so there was loads of offcuts from the Queen's Barge. So the first board I ever have has an inlay from the same wood that is on the Queen's Barge, which is really quite nice.
Cool. And I presume you were already surfing when you kind of landed on this first board.
Yeah, so I'd been surfing for like 2.5 years. So I started when I was 18 surfing. Had my first lesson down at Coast to Coast with Sam, and then I did like 6 months of going for lessons with them. Did a North Coast trip with them, and was just absolutely hooked. I mean, they had me standing up on the first lesson, in the first hour, and I mean, it was great fun, but just totally had me hooked from then on out. I mean, we're still like good friends and surf. Well, I see him in the comps and stuff, and anytime I'm at Belhaven.
So you sounds like you picked it up pretty fast.
I'd say I progressed quite quickly, but then I kind of hit that I've always felt like you hit that plateau when just like
yeah.
I
not
like
surfing
the
enough.
fact, like the comment then, oh, I hate people like that stand up straight away. And you always tell by the way you came, oh, have you surfed here before? Oh, yeah, I've only surfed here once, and I surfed Expert Beast Mega Mode or whatever it was first go. I was like, right.
And how much did you know about the Scottish surf scene when you first went for that lesson at Coast to Coast? Did you know much? Did you know there was anything?
Nothing really. Like back then, even at like St Andrews where I surfed, there was only four people back then that really surfed.
Yeah.
That was like kind of the like Clayton, George, Stephen, and then there was a Kiwi guy that used to surf.
Right.
So there wasn't really even a big scene there. And I think it was January that I tried to get a lesson, and Coast to Coast were shut. They didn't run stuff through the winter then, so I had to wait till I think like February to get a lesson or something with them. But yeah, I didn't really know anything. I'd watched a surf movie. I can't actually remember what it was, and I was like, that looks like great fun. It's like, yeah, I want to go for a shot on that. But yeah, I didn't know anything about the Scottish surf scene at that point. It was still, I think, well, what was that, like 15 years ago?
So Swanee wasn't even on the scene then.
No.
He must have been, what, in his late, like, 60s back then?
It was. We definitely should have started it off with I fucking hate Swan.
Well, actually, Swanee was the first mate that, mate now that I really met when I got posted home to Scotland, and I kind of had a few failed attempts at surfing St Andrews because I didn't know there was two beaches, so I would always go to West Sands, but there would never be waves, and it was only one random night, and I'd been talking to Swanee online. I stumbled across East Sands by chance, and I was like, the fuck is this? And it was proper going off, and I think it might not have been that night, but maybe the next time. That was the first time we met, and I actually remember this to this day. Like, we were all at the Toasty Shack, just in a huddle like you do, chatting. I didn't know anyone except I'd spoken to Swanee online, but I remember how friendly and welcoming you were. And even with, local accents, all that kind of stuff, whatever, you still, you can get into groups of circles of other mates that you're not part of and feel like everyone's like, who the fuck is that? And you weren't like that at all, which I think is that really sums up East Sands for me. I feel like that is kind of what East Sands is all about,
I feel like it is probably one of like the friendliest sort of surf breaks around. Because usually, there's probably about 15 people that are all the regulars that go and surf down there at least. So you always know at least one person there. But yeah, everyone always chats. Or you see someone new like turn up and they're like on a bigger day, they're kind of like looking like, oh, where do I get out? Yeah. And then everyone just always chats. So it's super, super friendly. And it's
Apart
nice.
from chill out, Grom. That guy.
I was going to say it's probably you because you spent ages of your life trying to get rid of the accent.
So how did you sort of been surfing a little bit, I'd guess. Where were you based? Were you around sort of Dundee area, St Andrews area?
Yeah, so I was in St Andrews when I started surfing, and then I actually moved down I was in Haddington for 2 years.
Oh, right, okay.
So I was surfing at Dunbar and around that area all the time, but mainly on beaches. I was still just on my original 7.2 Hawaiian Soul, which was actually such a fun board.
So do you longboard or shortboard mostly?
Now I mainly longboard or ride sort of mid-length, kind of this size.
You've given up on life like me then, yeah?
To be fair,
as that's what Mitch always tells
you
me.
see Fraser surf really well. It's actually quite frustrating.
Nah, I'm just fairly average.
I have been in many a way of Fraser when I've been paddling back out and Fraser's coming at me on a log, and I'm like, I have got. And normally you're coming one way and Swanee's coming the other way, and I'm like, this isn't my fault. Like, there's nowhere I can
Never is your fault. Every time you've been in my way, it's never been your fault as well.
No, I do occasionally shortboard a little bit, but mainly go out on like a mid-length or a log now.
Have you got your own made log as well?
Yeah, so I only ride my boards now. So only wooden boards or some stuff that I've like recycled up. I actually stripped down an old board recently, which was my first PU shortboard. Ripped all the glass off that and cut the foam back down. I've now clad it in wood and cork.
Yeah.
So I'll take that out, and that'll probably be, I think it's 6'2", but I don't think I'll ever go really much shorter than that.
How I'm curious about that. How do you remove the glass from a board? Because I've wondered before. There's a few boards I've got that I love, but they're just straight up white. Like, I like to have my tartan on my boards, and I always wondered how straightforward it would be to remove glass and sort of relam it and whatever?
It's a lot of work. You'd probably
Are you just chipping away at glass?
Well, no, you can cut the rails, and then once you get a blade under it, you can actually just like peel the whole thing off. It'll come off in a sheet.
Right.
But that board had kind of delammed like on the deck because it was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
It just been like pounded, and it was totally delammed. So I just pulled it up, and there was a huge section of it that wasn't even attached anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you can peel it off quite easily. But then cleaning all the foam and everything back up is you'd be better starting from scratch.
Okay. Is that board looking like a brand new board though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The foam, once I shaved it all down, it was actually like pretty good on the inside because I had to take so much off.
So in theory of that, like, because lots of people like say wooden boards and like sustainable and stuff like that, with older boards, there would be a way to recycle most of what's used from older boards. In theory, that way.
Yeah, I've done a few boards like old foamies, cut them apart, taken the stringers out, and remade them into boards. Which,
sorry, I just got an idea. I got I've got a massive 9-foot foamy, but it's got like it's like a beginner board, and I was going to use it for surfing like the 7-bore and that, but now I'm thinking actually it's a foamy, and I might just give it to someone to put wood round it.
Yeah, well,
it's doable.
Yeah, it is doable. There's a lot of work to actually get the foam. There's about 2
he
days.
doesn't care about how much work it is. You just make it happen, Fraser.
But no, it can all be recycled. 'Cause otherwise, that board's just going to end up in landfill.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of them that just get thrown away because they're so shittily made.
Yeah.
Like you see the stringers, they're just like 1/4-inch plywood, and it's not even good ply. It's like packing ply.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they last so long.
This thing's I think is 147 litres. That's ridiculous. It's like 9'2" or 9'6", 147 litres, and it's like we could cut it in half and make a longboard each out of it.
Yeah.
See, I wonder what is a good life cycle of a board that's made more sort of, I say traditionally, I mean, sort of PU, that sort of stuff. Is 12 years good in terms of
traditional
sustainability?
wood way of making it?
Well, is it the original traditional? I mean, the more standard way, I guess, the cheaper, but can sell for an absolute profit, mass production. Like what, we've been speaking about sustainability with Spanish guys that were on the other day, but I actually don't know what would be considered a good life cycle for a board to be sustainable.
I don't know. Well, like the PU and epoxy boards, you'll see start to get all the pressure dents in them, and I mean my board that I've just remade, that was 10 or 12 years old, so I mean that had a hard life. That had been around the world. The nose had been replaced, multiple dings and like gouges in the bottom from surfing a reef nearby. But once they obviously start to delam and they've got all those dings in them and the water starts to get in, people just kind of stop surfing them. They'll get a new board. So it depends obviously how much a board's surfed and how well it's looked after, I suppose. But that's where like the wooden boards, they last so much longer because you don't get like pressured dings in them.
Yeah.
And they are like much more robust. Like if you drop your standard board, you hit the cobbles or stones or something, it'll dent the glass straight away, and that's through into the foam. I mean, if you hit they did a test, like I think it was actually Flamma.
Oh, right, okay.
The guys last week, I was chatting to them in my workshop, and like they took a hammer to a foam board, and like said like the hole went straight through the wood. They made like a little like mark on it, but didn't actually like penetrate through the wood because the wood was so much harder than the glass.
Yeah.
So that way, like I guess that's where these kind of boards, they do last a bit longer. They're easier to kind of repair if you have a little bit of like know-how.
So I was asking them the other day, but I wasn't sure. It's probably my fault that I just didn't get the answer that I actually wanted from the question. But it was, how do you sort out volume? And I know from speaking to you earlier, like some of them have got foam in them and some of them have got a hollow frame. So I understand if you're doing a foam one, because you cut your foam to whatever size you want and then you put over the top of that. But if you're doing a hollow one, how do you sort out your volume levels in there to what the board is? Or is that determined by the thickness of whatever you go inside?
So the hollow wooden boards I build, they're all designed on Shape 3D on the computer. So the whole model is made on there, so that gives you all your dimensions, your volume, and then that is then exported into a skeleton frame file.
Yeah.
And CNC cut, so it's like 98% accurate by the time it's cut, and then you're just building everything to that frame.
Yeah.
So that's how you know the volume, or if say someone wanted a 6-foot board and they went, oh, that's maybe too small, I can go onto the computer and scale that board up to 6.5 or whatever they want and just tweak it.
And in terms of placing the volume, so like on a regular foam board, if you wanted to, I don't know, place more volume in a nose, for example, or in the middle of the board, obviously you can do that through your sort of packaging of the foam. How do you do that on a hollow board, or can you?
Yeah, so again, that's going back onto the computer and just altering the rocker and the thickness of the board in set places.
Yeah.
And then again, that's just exported as the skeleton frame file.
Yeah.
And I should have had like a half wooden board with me today to show. We can add in a picture or something.
Yeah, if you've got something, we'll add it over later.
What's that thing there that you've got? Which
so
is
this is the unglassed boards. So I've been doing hollow wooden boards, and then these boards are unglassed. So these boards have a foam core.
Yeah.
And then
so if you hold that up to that camera there.
And then they're clad in wood, so it has 4mm wooden skins top and bottom, and a layer of flax under the top deck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then just cork on the rails. So these boards, there's no fiberglass or epoxy or PU on these. These are just varnished or oiled to finish. So it's just.
Did you have to? I sit back when I'm talking. I sit back away from the microphone. I've never recorded one of these before. Is that something you have to reapply if you're varnishing or oil then?
With the oil, it has to be, depending on how much the board's surfed, has to be topped up because the oil will start to leach out of the wood. The varnish will actually last a lot longer. So the first unglassed board I made for my mate Jamie, who surfs out on Barra, and that was the test board. That was actually made from an old foamy as well, and I was like, right, if anyone's going to destroy a board, it's you. Just the way you surf, Jay.
Your careless nature.
But that board was varnished, and he brought it into the workshop, and he'd had it out there for 2 years, and the board still looked brand new. I thought I was going to have to like sand it right back and give it a new coat of varnish, but it still looked really good. He'd actually taken quite good care of it. It was me that.
I was going to start talking to you about an oak conservatory that I looked at before I came out here that had been varnished, and but I won't bore everybody with that.
But yeah, I was just kind of experimenting with different finishes on the boards as well, on the unglassed ones, just to see what works and what lasts. I oiled mine, and I'd taken that out to, that board's 1.5 years old now, my mid-length, and taken it out to Sri Lanka twice, and that oil's been topped up on that twice, like after each trip.
Yeah.
But that was really, I took that board out there to test the hell out of it to see, can I break this? What's going to happen?
What broke first, you or the board?
Me, unfortunately. yeah. Another injury to the list. Surfed every day for like a month straight and ended up tearing my shoulder.
So you could have come here and done 2 sessions a day and done that.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to land on the materials that you use now? Was it a long process to get to what you're using, and what specifically woods are you using? Yeah,
so it's changed like from the first lot of like hollow boards I made. I was working with Western Red Cedar because I could get that quite easily. Then the price of that skyrocketed, and couldn't get hold of any without paying about 150 a plank. I need about 4 or 5 planks to make a board.
Right.
So I had to change that. And the plywood, the thickness on that, I used to use like 12mm for strength, but the ply's like much better now, so I can thin that down to 6mm waterproof ply. And all the boards are now made in Polonia, which is this kind of nice white grained wood. Most of it comes from Spain and Portugal. They've got plantations there.
Okay.
So Polonia is like the best weight to strength ratio of any wood.
Right.
Naturally water resistant, and it's really quick growing. So you can harvest a tree in 10 years, but when they cut the tree down, they leave the stump, and the new tree grows from the stump.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So it kind of regenerates itself.
So did you start on? I know you said you started as you were a cabinet maker, bespoke, but when you started it, was it just, obviously you said it was, you just wanted to make your own board, but did you look at the sustainability straight away, or was it just like, actually, I just want to make wooden boards, and then go, actually, this is more sustainable? By which way, how did it all come about that way?
Probably more at the start was I wanted to make just a wooden board.
A craftsman flex.
Yeah, just wanted like something really nice. But then obviously the sustainability has come into it quite a lot. Trying to source like materials that are more sustainable, a bit more eco-friendly. I'm trying to move away from using fiberglass and resin and stuff, just to make the boards a bit more greener, because traditionally surfboards are not the most eco-friendly things.
I just love the fact someone's going to come in one day and go, I don't give a fuck about that, I just like making wooden boards.
No, but there's also nothing wrong with that. You know, I think I almost think we're kind of, and it's nice to know that people care, but I almost feel that we're in an environment where you're being forced to care. And actually, you just got to let people do what they do. Education is absolutely key. But if you just want to make wooden boards because you want to make wooden boards and you don't care about anything else, you know, because we'll get preached at about sustainability by somebody that's just driven their diesel tractor all the way across to me, you know. So I think there's a bit of a weird. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave that there. But
I was wondering where you were going.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. But I think, you know, there's a bit of a preachy thing in that, you know. And because we're surfers, we're supposed to be at the forefront of it, sort of thing. Well, just because I'm a surfer doesn't mean that I have to be right at the front and I need to be able to picket fences and, you know, protest and all that stuff. I care, but it still has to work and it still has to last and everything else.
Yeah, well, I think like. Someone actually had a bit of a rant on me online at times because I said it was a sustainable board, and they're like, there's no such thing as a sustainable surfer. If you want to be a sustainable surfer, you need a balsa board, you need to live at the beach, you can't drive a car. And I was like, well, in the modern world that's just not achievable,
did they tell you that over the internet as well?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a sustainable balsa board, but thanks to some sustainable golfers on a flight to Portugal, golf clubs went straight through the board, and now it's just a display piece. So I don't know what that's doing for the world.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'm ever like preachy and I'm trying to like force, you have to be riding an eco wooden board. Like, I think it is nice for people. A lot of people just want to come and build a board because it's like a switch off for them for 3 or 4 days to come to the workshop. Most of them have never made anything before, they've never been hands on, and you see them like kind of panic at the start, go, this pile of wood's going to be a board in 3 days, and then you just see them kind of get engrossed in the process of making everything, which is really nice.
So let's talk about that, actually. Let's talk about where did you kind of land on the workshops, and what do the workshops look like, and what can somebody expect from it?
Well, I started doing the workshops because I really enjoyed making the boards, but then I don't always get there's not always like loads of orders for boards coming in, and a lot of people are like, I'd love to actually make one. So I was like, well, I can run a course and teach someone to make it, because the process is quite streamlined of doing a hollow build now. So the courses I run are 3 days. You come in, all like the wood is prepped. All the skeletons are printed out or CNC cut, ready to kind of glue together.
Sorry to interrupt you, could you do that on an order? So say I'm down south and I like, this is what I want, basically order it off you and just there's the parts, like an IKEA surfboard, especially there's the parts, put it together yourself.
I have done a few kits for people as well, so that you build
cool.
at home.
You have to sign up to a subscrition, and you get bits and bits.
A bit each week. Ends up costing you 17 grand.
No, but so I do kits, and they come out with a full instruction manual. I've done quite a few of them, and people get in touch. I say, like, any issues, call me, email me, send me pictures, and I'll tell you where you're going wrong or what you need to do to change that. But the courses have been quite popular. Last year was I think I had 6 or 7 courses, which is the most I've ever done in 1 year, which was great. Yeah. So at the end of 3 days, you've got a wooden board. The hollow ones do have to be fiberglassed, so that's left with me afterwards to be finished off. Just because fiberglassing is
there, then.
Well, fiberglassing is quite tricky, and you need to kind of you put a layer on, need to leave it for a day to set. So there's so much downtime. Right. And so much that can go wrong with fiberglassing that it's just easier for me to do that.
In my head, they're turning up to the workshop and there's just planks of wood straight off the shelf, and it's like if they end up just cutting a perfectly NASA level straight line grail, like, and they just end up with a rectangle board that's completely flat, that's on them.
Yeah,
You're just there to facilitate the putting together of it.
It's that thing though, like you're saying, when you made your first board, I take it that wasn't done on machine and stuff like that. Was that just made, or did you use all the machine stuff to do it then as well?
So the first board, I had to hand cut all the ribs with a jigsaw.
Yeah.
So I had to first of all print off the plans, tape all the paper together,
Yeah.
and glue that down, then cut everything out by hand because I didn't have a CNC. Sand everything down perfectly to try and get it all level. But now with the CNC, that makes it so much more like accurate and fast.
So if you look at that first board that you made, I won't ask the question.
No, go.
It's right, because I said, like, I've seen like some boards, and some are like handmade and some I'd call homemade. Like, you can tell the difference on it. So that first board, was that more handmade or homemade?
I think that was a homemade one. Yeah, it was pretty clunky, the first one. Like, it's actually hanging in the roof of the workshop. But it's quite nice to look at that and see how far I've come.
Yeah.
Over 12 years now.
So what, like, if someone's listening to this and they're trying to make their own, they can't afford all the machines, or they haven't got access to those things, and they're making their own boards by hand, what advice would you give to people out there that said, there's some guy in his shed somewhere and he's trying to like perfect wooden boards, and he's like, I just can't get the levels and everything, like one side's higher than the other or something like that, and what steps can they take to like perfect those sorts of things if they're trying to do it?
Yeah, I think I always, even for the courses or any board I make, preparation is key for everything. So like starting with a perfectly level table and then building everything up from there, because the boards are built on a rocker table, so that you clamp everything down and force the wood into the bends.
Yeah.
So if you're starting with like a level table, you have to build everything up from there, so everything's level. There's lots of measuring and making sure it's perfect to start building up on, and it's a patience thing. I mean, like I say, the courses are 3 days, but like if you're building one at home, then there's no rush. Like, just take your time with everything.
I think that's the thing, innit? A lot of people want to build it, and they go, right, I'll build a board this afternoon, and you're like,
yeah,
it's not going to happen.
It's kind of a process that you have to get. It's like woodworking, anything. It's patience and just going through all the stages and taking your time with everything.
How well do probably more the hollow boards, I guess, to get acclimatized, I suppose, to our environment, when you've travelled with them, do they travel, if they've gone from kind of cold environments to super hot, moist and everything else, do they travel well? Has that been problematic? Or
they do travel. They now have breather vents in them, just to allow the air inside to acclimatise.
Yeah.
So they can be fully unscrewed. When usually if you unscrew them in summer, you'll get a good like hiss, and that's just the expanded air like escaping. Without that, they would probably like pop apart.
Yeah. I thought you was going to ask, like, trying to put some tanning oil on them. It's a Scottish wood.
Some carrot oil.
I'll get some sunburn.
That's where I thought you were going, first of all. You have to have some special oil to put on them when you take it to a hot country.
But yeah, just making sure the vent's in, and it's got a Gore-Tex breather, so just allows the air to flow.
Okay.
Is there ever any danger with that of water getting into that in it?
It could be if it fails. I haven't had one fail yet, but yeah, there is that.
But the wood's watertight equally on the inside. No, you can.
It's varnished on the inside, yeah. But I have had one. My first ever board did crack. I landed on it with my heel, and it did fill with water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I drained it all out, and it took a while to drain out and dry properly. But
you get a danger then of, like, I'm only going on personal experience with working in wood and paint and stuff like that. So if you've got like an old windowsill, for example, that's the paint's gone on it, and then someone wants it painted, if you paint it before it's dried out fully, as soon as the sun gets back on it or heat gets on it, it sucks that moisture back through. So have you got the same sort of danger on that? If you don't get that completely dry, as soon as it gets any heat on it, it's just going to start popping everything.
Maybe, yeah. Or the wood will start to want to expand and move.
Yeah.
But I think that's where like the vent really helps, because it's constantly breathing.
Yeah.
Who have you sort of looked up to for inspiration? Do you have that kind of? I presume you do.
Yeah, there's there's a really good group of wooden board makers all over the world, who are always like happy to give advice. Kit down south at Bandwagon Surfboards, he's like always on WhatsApp or Instagram to him. For the unglass boards, he gave me lots of like tips or advice and stuff, and we kind of share ideas. Or I was struggling to find materials. Like cork got really difficult because there's shortages of cork in Portugal, and finding a good quality one to actually use was like I couldn't find any for about 4 months, and I ended up finding something that was really good. So we kind of share ideas on that. But then there's like Tom Wenger out in Oz. Guy in New Zealand. Sorry, I got an absolute frog in my throat. It's dry in here. But yeah, there's guys at Flamma.
Yeah, I was chatting to the Flamma guys the other day, and I think they had I think they called it circle thing, but it was essentially a group of like-minded shapers sharing ideas rather than sort of coming up with a more sustainable, long-lasting, better way of producing and then copywriting and putting patents on stuff, which is just a horrendous problem in the world. And their point is that they're able to share ideas with other like-minded shapers.
Yeah, so we've got a really good there's a WhatsApp group. Most of the guys are based in like France and Spain and Portugal. There's lots of makers over there doing these unglass boards, but they're always sharing ideas or how they're building their how they're
You can come in.
that my thing. So they're always sharing ideas on the materials and their constructions. So it was really good to meet him. He's doing like a similar construction to me, but he's going so thin with the wood.
Right.
So the boards are super light, and it's really interesting to see how he's done it. So I need to kind of go away and trial one myself now and see how that will work on these.
We couldn't believe, genuinely, we were filming in here and he passed over, it was a shortboard, passed over a shortboard from behind us to Pete, and he said, oh, it's light. And look, you mentioned it when we were driving up. Somebody goes to pick up a wooden board, you're kind of expecting it to be heavy.
You think it's going to be like a block of wood that heavy?
So you're grabbing it thinking it's heavy. When you grabbed it, you nearly put it through the roof in here. It was honestly like my rocket wide squash tail is made of eggshells. That thing is stupidly light. However, it feels heavy compared to the thing he's making. So do you know what they're doing to make it that light?
Yeah, it's just how thin they're taking the wood.
Does that affect the longevity of it though? Because like you thin, I'm thinking now, if you're going thinner wood, surely like principle of if you push any weight on it, it's going to go through. But then at the same time, how much easier they said they are to repair with like what's?
Yeah, the thinner you go, like there would be more room for it to be damaged, I suppose, because the wood will flex more. I think there's a happy medium to be found somewhere in there where it's going to last a bit longer. So mine, I do 4 mil, and he said he was doing like 1 mil.
Yeah. Jeez.
So I think maybe 3.3 or 3 mil like over it would be the board will still be light, but it will last longer because like the density of the wood is
such small margins.
But then again, I suppose if you're using wood that's like you were saying, you don't have to glass it or anything. Like the repair side of that might be easier still if you haven't got I know like you can chop in wood to other woods, fine. But like if you've not got to worry about then re-fiberglassing or anything on that bit, that makes that repair easier still in a way.
Yeah. So like on my personal board, I damaged the deck. It hit the reef. Yeah. So I just cut out a diamond piece and glued a new bit in, and it took me half an hour.
Yeah.
It's like with a fiberglass board, you'd have to dig in, foam, free glass it, recolor it. But with the wood, I mean, you could kind of make a feature out of it. Mine kind of blended in nicely.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to ask you about cork as well. Firstly, how easy it is to work with. Secondly, what it does for the board. My understanding is it helps add a bit of float to it.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of float that will be added to it. The cork I'm now using is actually really dense, but the idea is that it can be fixed really easily as well. Like if you've got a ding on the rail, you can just cut a little check out and glue a new bit in, and then just varnish over the top. It takes impacts really quite well.
Yeah.
Kind of absorbs it and then releases so you don't actually ding too much.
Okay.
What size is that one next to you?
So this one is a 6'8". This is the demo board here at Lost Shore. Just I think it's 21.5 wide. This is.
See, I always think just looking at wooden boards, they're going to have more volume in than a normal off-the-shelf board, just because of the way they look. But I'm not sure. So I look at something like that 6'8" wooden board. I think, I could probably ride that quite easy, and then I'm used to riding like longer boards. So I think I'm riding that 8'2" at the moment down in there, which is a short board for me. Normally. And then I look at that, I'm like 6'8", and I'm like, actually I was on that 7'2" fish, and I'm like, actually I probably could ride that one, and it just looks buoyant and it looks wide as well. I like it. I like the look of that.
Well, I
basically I'm going to the point where I might take it out later.
Perfect, that's what we want. Have you surfed a wooden board before?
Never.
Well, that's like ideal to take it out for a spin here at Lost Shore.
Might take it out.
There you go. Be committed to it.
Bear in mind, I'll be taking it out on the turn session, and then you might get a phone call later. We've got to repair the demo.
That's what it's for.
No, well, I mean, this is the same board that I've been surfing. So I have a exact same one as this, but like say people see a wooden board and they think, oh, that's going to be heavy, it's going to be chunky, but like I think the weight of this is 4 to 4.5 to 5 kilos, so pretty much the same weight as like a foam board would be. This one is slightly higher volume. I wanted to make a board that was easy to paddle and fun to surf, but it's still got like a pulled in tail, so you can still turn it. But yeah, the shapes and everything are getting more refined. But yeah, when people see a wooden board, they think, oh, that's maybe not going to surf so well. But like the design and the construction of the boards now, they're getting to the point where they are as good as any other board would be. Like the guys at Flamma, he is a much better shaper than I am, and he showed me a video of his board. He's like, this is meant to just be like a small wave board just for summer swells. There's a guy out in double overhead getting absolutely barreled on it out in Portugal, and he's like, we don't know why it's working so well. He's like, the wood's flexing, or is it the construction that's helping? He's like, it was just cutting through the chop. He's like, but so there's something to be like more to be explored in wood anyway.
When this arrives, this cork, how does it just arrive like kind of like a plank of wood and you have to cut it down, or do you have to do any work to it?
Yeah, so the cork actually, they're bathroom tiles. So they come in sort of 1/2 meter square sheets.
Right.
So I have to, this board, it has 2 joins, so do scarf joins, half lap scarf joins, to create a length long enough.
I like the way he looked at me and said that and just ignored him.
And then it's just shaped back. It actually shapes really nicely because it's so dense.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just really forgiving.
Yeah. Let's go back to your surfing.
Wait, before we do that, let's go back to this local reef. Where's
which one?
I don't know. So you've picked up surfing, you're making your own boards, and then you're immediately on the competition scene.
Well, I've helped out quite a lot of the Scottish surfing comps. I used to go up and competed. I would say I'm quite an average surfer. I have good days. Days.
Back to my point about people that say they're average surfers, making us average surfers look like we're rubbish.
So yeah, I was helped out at lots of comps. Mainly just longboard. I'm not good enough to shortboard anymore. Like with a slight nerve damage and stuff down my leg, I can't really surf so well.
Sorry, I was wondering why there wasn't a longboard, wooden board demo down there, because I would have been straight on that, taking that out.
Well, we talked to the guys in the shop and organised that. So we've got a couple of boards in the shop at the moment, and the idea is, well, one of them sold, which was great. I think that was one of the first boards to sell here, and then once make some more up to get in on the rack down there, which would be good. I am making a new log for myself, which I was going to try and.
What's the biggest size you've gone on log to make so far?
10 foot.
Yeah.
That was a custom one for a guy. We did loads of colour work on it, and I think I spent like 3 weeks making it. I was kind of sick of it by the end, because he's like, oh, can we polish it as well? And epoxy is really difficult to polish properly. So I had to wet sand that for about 3 days.
You just got to keep going
with the
higher,
grades,
higher in grade.
I think
you?
up to like 1,000 grit, and then you can get the Firacell like compound on it to polish it.
Yeah.
But you just can't move it too much, or it starts to like go cloudy.
Right. It's the equivalent of painting banisters.
So if you, I guess maybe it's something that, you know, for some people, you know, the wood looks amazing, it always looks amazing, but maybe not everyone wants a board that looks wooden. Can you make a wooden board but give it a kind of, I guess, a more regular or more like artwork of, if somebody just wants, I don't know, a turtle drawn on there, or some sort of ink inlay or whatever, can you still do that?
Yeah, you can do, I've done pyrography boards, so another artist had drawn on the boards with a sort of a hot burning pen.
Okay.
But yeah, you could fully paint it. I mean I'm a bit of a purist. I love a wood finish.
I
don't think anybody I know would want a wooden board and it not to look like wood.
No, but you might want it from a perspective where you think, I really like the sustainability element, but I still want it to be Mitchell tartan, for example. You know, like you could do that exact same thing.
You could do a material overlay on it, or whatever you wanted. Yeah.
Would that, if you're using like varnishes and stuff like that, I just wondered if you'd even get away with something like excuse, you got me at it now. If you'd even get away with something like cut like sticker and then varnished over, because you're varnishing that in or something.
On the unglassed boards, you'd probably have to like brand it in like the logo, or burn it rather than a sticker or a decal. You'd have to have glass over that to help keep it down.
Oh, is that a branded burned-in logo?
Yeah, so that one's actually
same as the one on your leg.
Yeah. I thought we were all doing it afterwards. Yeah, just heat it up.
Absolutely not. And then let's go into your. You were competing for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, so I have competed at the longboard comps around in Scotland a few times, which has been really good fun. Yeah. I think it's more of a social thing than anything. It's kind of surfing with like friends, and I was surfing against Sam last year. It's always been like, I just want to beat him. Like,
which Sam we talking?
Christopherson, who runs Coast to Coast. Because he taught me to surf, and I've never beaten him. And I was in third, and there was like a minute to go last year in the comp, and like the buzzer went, and I just saw him turn and paddle for a wave, and I was like, he's got me. But we got a great picture afterwards. We're just laughing about it.
Was it super small that day? Was that at Belhaven, that comp?
That was the one last year at Pease.
Was it at Pease?
It was like a Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
It was because it was the Scottish longboard and the Lowland joined together.
Yeah. We were Bamburgh, and then we went there, and it was the next day or the weekend after.
Yeah, it might have been. I think we were
be there
because it was like the conditions were like horrible.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
from
it was horrible, like on shore, and then by the evening, like the sun had come out and it had just up to like shoulder high. It was just perfect. But
you get what you get.
Yeah, but it was a good fun comp. But the standard of like the juniors coming through as well is just crazy.
In fact, did Ansel
he won it
here? Yeah, he won it. Yeah. And I don't think he's a longboarder either, is he? I think he took a longboard.
He is now.
Yeah.
I think he's got, I don't know, not sponsored, but he's got a really nice skin dog log. But he's just surfing so well.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see, but also it's like so frustrating to see just how quickly the kids have come on.
Imagine these kids are surfing this all the time as well. Like the level is going to go through the roof, and actually it's quite an exciting thing to watch. And I hope we're sort of somehow documenting the progression. Like we've all seen it. You've only surfed once, but in fact you said it to me last time we surfed East Sands, and you were actually probably for the first time. The other way around, you were in my way when I was on a wave, and you were like, I can see how much you've come on. I think we even spoke about it on an episode.
Yeah, it's all about you. Let's make it about you, how good you are. Yeah.
No, but you can totally see like people like how quickly they're progressing who've like surfed it regularly. Because I feel like that was like surfing on the East Coast. That's always been like just hit plateaus.
Yeah.
Because like you go away on holiday, or you go surf up north for like 2 weeks, and you get loads of surf like consistent, and then you come back and there's nothing for like 3 weeks.
I was saying to the guys the other day like how much you'd have more opportunity to test out wooden boards in a place like this now, whereas you've got that. it just gives you for everything. Like we said, like I've always been anti-wave pool, and I don't know. Being here for a week, it has changed my mind a little bit on them, and seeing the sides of like how much you can test boards, how much you can progress, how much your fitness will go up in the amount of times. Like every part of surfing, that if you can perfect it in somewhere like this, the only downside of it would be you'd have to have deep pockets to do that all the time, I suppose, unless you've got some sort of deal where you're testing things and doing things or whatever. But everything you could perfect to then take in the ocean for that perfect day, and if all that worked together, like, you know, everyone knows, and it's different to the ocean, and it's like we said, it's supposed to be, but for everything to work on that perfect day in the ocean, that's why this is worth it out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, to be able to test out boards like you make yourself in there would be even better. I think that's the only thing with a wooden board. I think I want to make it myself if I buy a wooden board ever. It would have to be on a course and make it, and I'd have to do something slightly off just so I always knew it was my one, because there's something slightly wrong on
like
there.
a square corner somewhere. It's definitely something we should do one time. I think it would be really cool, document the whole thing as well. And you know, you've been away quite a bit recently surfing in the sun.
Yeah, so I took a month in Sri Lanka at the start of this year, and did the same the year before. Just get away, break up winter. It's so good. Like, just working like constantly, like in the workshop, like the dark days and stuff. I just needed to break it up.
Where did you go, if you can say?
I was in Sri Lanka, which I could not recommend enough.
Is in the spot, or is it not telling anyone?
No, the south coast of Sri Lanka. So I stayed in Midigama.
Okay.
But the whole south coast, from November till April, is just surf every day.
What sort of waves are you getting?
So the first week of the holiday was probably the best, and that was kind of head and a half. But there's just a range of, from where I was staying, I think there was 5 waves within 10 minutes.
Amazing.
Just point breaks, beach break, but just really friendly surf. Even when it was a bit bigger, I think it's because of like how the topography of the ocean there. It's a really flat, long shelf, so it hits it way out, and it does take a bit of the power out of it, but still super fun.
Yeah.
And you, I think I saw you'd literally just came back, and it was your first St Andrews surf, and it was the worst weather. It was some sizable to it, but
there was no such thing as bad weather in Scotland.
It was awful. There was so much chop on it. There was size, but it was cold and miserable, and just typically East Coast.
Yeah, I think that was the first surf back when I saw you, and I was like, it was like Mitch has been surfing the wave pool a lot. You can see like. Just see you reading the waves and stuff, like, yeah, he's been surfing a lot.
And so we're gonna see these kids are gonna progress. I say kids, like they're like adults compared to us in the surf. Like they know what they're doing. It's exciting times.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's gonna progress, just like the more using it, but especially the kids. I mean, I think the Scottish juniors have been down. I think they do it once a month in camp or something.
Yeah, done a few times.
I constantly see the pictures popping up, and they're like out on the barrel setting and stuff. These absolute little chargers, but no, it is exciting to see like how quickly they're going to come on. I am really quite jealous. Like,
I know,
just thinking back,
had this.
I mean, I've surfed for 15, 16 years, and like how much I would have progressed if I had this on my back door. Like,
I mean, we were chatting to a guy yesterday that pops over from Belfast. He's been surfing for 2 years, and he was over here to do barrels. 2 years, absolute madness.
Yeah,
absolute madness. And how's the longboard crew in Scotland? Do you feel it's kind of? Do you think there's more longboarders than shortboarders, or?
I'd probably say quite an even split. I think East Sand is probably dominated by the longboarders.
I think all the East Coast spots are dominated by longboarders.
But no, certainly for me that seems to be like the most fun at the moment. And though I have been enjoying the mid-length, which is a little bit smaller. But yeah,
Mitch had the best wave of his life on a longboard.
Did he?
No, I had the longest wave.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the best wave. This is the longest.
It was fun, but I just didn't.
He came off it buzzing, and he changed his tune. The further he got away from it, he changed his tune because he just can't admit that he wants to longboard.
No. I honestly, I can't get on with longboarding because I can't do anything on a longboard. And it was fun, I was able to trim up and down the face, but I couldn't do tons. Even though I'm on the tail, like nothing's happening. So for me, just doing a mediocre, attempt at a top turn or a snap on a shortboard, for me that's everything, even if I don't ride out of it. So I would take that one attempt at a rubbish turn over, a 300-meter wave, which is probably what I had. But don't get me wrong, I was buzzing at the end of that wave. I was buzzing, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm going to the car park then because I'm not paddling that bad. But everyone likes what they like, don't they?
Yeah, I mean there's such a range for people to surf on now. There's literally a board for everyone. Yeah, depending on what you want, but.
I reckon you'd be good mid-length in because you'd get that be able to turn, and you'd get that funness of the long.
Yeah, we'd get you on the demo board as well.
Do you know? I was thinking of taking it out, but I don't know if I'd be able to do anything on it. Except damage it. I'd be the opposition to everything you've just said.
No,
here's
you'd
both
definitely be able to turn that.
Maybe. Well, if we've got it in, we can maybe swap round on it. It does look turbo fun. I would love to try.
It depends. It depends. We can swap round. Depends what you're taking out, because I'm not swapping for a bloody 5'1", whatever you're taking. I'd just be sat on, like it says someone drowning there. Oh no, it's just Pete sat on my board on the floor.
I've got my 6-foot fish in the car as well. If you want to punt on that.
And actually, something you were talking about the other day, Pete, because we were chatting about barrels, longboards here. And I've only, started doing barrels recently, and what I've found is that it's really easy. I mean, on a shortboard, so I can only imagine how much harder it is on a longboard, to be so far ahead of the wave because it's so fast to actually get barreled. There's barrels here, and I've definitely seen people on foamies and barrels, but I don't know how many logs I've seen.
I don't think you'd get in on a longboard.
Do you think it's too fast, or do you think it's?
I think you'd have to be really good, but the shape's just not gonna.
The only other one I've seen, I saw Skinner do it at the wave when it started, and they first put barrels on. That he got in there because he was.
He's a magician, though.
Yeah, I know that was it. But that's what I mean. Like that level, that's the only person that I've seen do it on a longboard.
I think if I went in on a longboard there, I'd just snap it, or because you have to kind of get in quite quickly. I think you could do it, but I think you'd be in front of the.
Well, the thing is, the takeoff's really easy.
Yeah.
The manoeuvres takeoff's harder than barrels. The takeoff on barrels is similar to turns. But for me, it's the speed. I just don't know. I mean, if I'm struggling to stall on a shortboard, I just don't know how.
I probably wouldn't give it a go on a longboard. I'd probably stick to turns or cruiser on that.
A lot of room for error there.
Should I try it on the 8.2?
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on a longboard, I wouldn't be trying to get barreled, really. I'd be more wanting to try and get up on the nose or something.
Have you been barreled on a log in the ocean?
No.
Would you not want to?
I don't think it would be the right. Anywhere that's kind of barreling, I probably wouldn't want to take my longboard out, just because it's not really going to fit in the shape of the wave. You'd want to be on something smaller and snappier just to get into the position.
It is impressive though, seeing all that, and it's like just next level of grace.
There was I think years ago up at the 1 year I didn't go, and they surfed Thurso East, and it was absolutely perfect. I think it was Max who used to work at Coast to Coast, got a beautiful cover up on the barrel, awesome. Like there, just on the longboard. It got perfect for that one. I was like, sod's law, like the one year I didn't go up, and it was like perfect.
And what have you got coming up? Any plans apart from obviously recovering from an injury?
I did want to try and get into the surf at the Nationals at the end of May, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to surf. I should be able to get back in the water mid-May, but I don't know if I'm going to be any surf fit because I can't really do any training at the moment.
Just work on our other arm.
Well, I have been surfing for the past month, and it has been sore. I just ignored it. I was kind of hoping it was just like a pulled muscle that would go away. So I went in for physio, and the left shoulder is really bad. And then they went over to the right one. They went, this is literally holding your upper body and back together at the moment. So that was in with the elbows and to try and sort that out, which was not fun at all.
I'm not being funny. I have definitely seen you no arm take off on many others. I don't know what you need to paddle for.
On the bigger boards you can get in quite quick with not too much paddling, but it's the pop up at the moment is the issue. I can't press up.
And what about, you seem like a man that surfed a lot of places all over the world. What's your best wave, you think, or the best place you've surfed, or the one you've got the best memory of?
We used to go to Morocco and surf quite a lot. It's probably 12 years ago, and we used to go to Imswam, and I don't know, you've seen videos of 400 or 500 people in the water there now. There used to be just 4 of us that were just went on the trip there.
Oh.
So we had cathedrals, so we stayed in a little hut overlooking cathedrals, surfed that, and then got the bay. Only worked like for a few days when we were there, but I think I surfed from the pier where you jump off to the beach. I think it was about 400 meters, and that was my last wave of the trip. I just packed up after that. I was like, I'm done.
I seen a friend showed me a GoPro video of surfing there, and there was lots of people in the water that was cutting in and out of them. But the video, I was watching it thinking, you know, when someone's showing you a video and you're thinking, I'm fucking bored now. It was just going on so long.
Yeah. That was probably one of the, and my friend got the wave behind me as well, and then we were both like, "Oh, that'll be it. That'll do for the trip." But that was a really nice place. But yeah, I've surfed all over Scotland. I love the Outer Hebrides, like Tiree and Barra.
Beautiful, yeah. It's so nice.
What's Tiree like for longboards?
It's really nice. There's a beach in the south, and that's probably one of my favourite waves in Scotland when it's nice. And again, you can get the place to yourself.
It's all right. It's only because Marty keeps saying to me, "Come over to Tiree," and I'm like,
"Oh, it's amazing! It's stunning there, man. It's so nice."
I went out to work there for a week. I was meant to go out and just make 4 doors for this house they were working on. Yeah, and I was there for a month, just living in the back of the van working on this house, and it's just like go for a surf in the morning or after work.
Dragging them dolls out with you.
Oh yeah. I ended up doing
1 door, 1 week.
I ended up like replasterboarding, and like I'd worked like the entire house, like did the roof on it as well.
Right.
Actually went back for another 2 weeks later that year and put the new roof on the house. But yeah, I love it over there.
And what about your worst? You got like a worst wipeout memory in the surf that sticks to mind?
Yeah, the King's Barnes. That local spot just down from me, really, really rocky. It was actually the last time they ran King of the Point. I think it was it was just before COVID, 2019. They had like huge surf. King's Barnes was amazing, and went for a wave and just totally mistimed it and just got slammed under. But leash snapped, board pinged across the rocks and got absolutely smashed. And I came back up, and the next wave hit me. And it was like 3 of those in a row just on the head. And no one actually saw me because I was too far in. So everyone was like, "Oh, where did you go in that surf?" I was like, "Oh, nearly drowned." Like come up like gasping through the foam. That was probably the worst ever wipeout. But I don't know, I'm quite good at holding my breath and relaxing when you go underwater.
Yeah. Well, that's what I used to think. And well, I am though, up till the point I'm not. Which is the problem.
I mean, I've only ever had one scare, and that's actually when I was away on holiday there. I actually ended up with I'm just going to call it party flu. I had a really bad cold, and just coughing, and constantly lung capacity had obviously shrunk.
Yeah.
So I went out and was just surfing out on my own on this spot, and there was no lifeguards or life rescue in Sri Lanka, and
just on your own.
Yeah, I took a wave and just, I don't know if I caught a rail or hit a lump, but went down, and usually I just relax. So I'd got pushed over quite far, and then you start kicking up, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be up in a second." And I was like, I'm still not up. And at that point I was starting to gasp, and then something hit me on the head, and my board was above me and pushed that out the way, and threw some foam, and I was properly gasping for air. That was probably the worst scare I've had. And then I was like, right, I'm going to go in now. Just because.
See, that's fairly recent, I guess. How long ago was that?
3 months ago.
I find even now, my worst one was kind of the start of my surf journey, really. Similar sort of thing, but even now, small hold down takes me back to that quite quickly. And actually that calmness, reminder of that, then that's where the mindset changes. I think everyone's probably got that. Yours is, I guess,
Did you get that the other day when you got held down here?
Yeah, it does. It takes me back to that immediately, because I'm like, fuck, I need to get up really quickly. Because I'll always, probably like anyone, there's times where you wipe out, it's so ferocious and quick, you don't get a chance to take a breath.
Yeah.
But I think probably 99% of the time, you get a chance to take a breath before you go down. And then there's times as well where, by chance, you might resurface in the tumble as your face is getting thrown out and back in. I will always try and get another bit of air on that way round, but yeah, it reminds me of it really quickly.
I think if you kind of had a little scare as well, it's quite easy to like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna panic, but I think that's where you just have to kind of like, I don't know, I always just close my eyes and just like
I think maybe
try to like think
what,
about what like
Hope.
yeah, I would just like just relax and just, I don't know, just think about just staying calm, and eventually you're back up.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
maybe that's why
surfing.
I'm all right, because I spend my whole life scared of everything. So just in the water,
That's
it's just,
gonna happen.
it's
Yeah.
just
Not that I'm surfing like huge waves, but you know, when it gets quite big at St Andrews, you can get, I got slammed there as well pretty badly. Like the other week, there's a video. Maybe I'll have to send it to you. You can
Yeah,
add it in.
definitely.
Just
Yeah,
like
stick
paddled
that in.
into it, and someone, I think, no, it wasn't Swanee, it was one of the students was filming, and I just picked the wrong wave, and I thought, oh, it's going to stay open, and it just slammed me, just literally threw me over the falls, like, it just hit that sandbar, and it just exploded. I just got driven into the sand.
Oh,
yes, we want that
worse
video.
than that is, I like. There's a few times recently I've been driven into the sand. I think there was one at Bamborough, and there was one at Bude. Like I've been like slammed hard into the sand recently quite a few times, and I think it's one of those, isn't it? The more you surf, the more you get slammed into things, and the more you ding your board, and the more you know.
It's why I think beaches, you know, people say, oh, it's all sand, it's safe, but beaches are so unpredictable, and I think that nature of, you know, that oscillating water, you know, I think there's more potential on a beach to go wrong, on a heavier beach to go wrong than there is on a slab or on a point break reef, depending on obviously what that spot is. But I think, you know, people talk about beaches as the safest spots. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah,
On
pretty
its
dumpy sometimes, and
massively, yeah, super shallow water. And if people want to find you, if people want to come and do a course with you, build their own board, or get a build your own subscription package, send a little bit here and there.
You'll see that next week and be like, actually, Mitch, that was a really good idea. Get a piece a week with a magazine.
now we're talking.
Where would they find you? And also, if they wanted to come here and test your boards, how would they go about that?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and online for cabinet makers. I have the demo board is here at Lost Shore. Just go into the shop and sign up like you would for a normal take-out. I'm not sure if they charge for extra for it or not. I think you just sign up and you can take it out.
Okay.
So there's only one board to demo at the moment, which is the 6'8" mid-length. Will be more in the future, hopefully. And there's a couple of boards for sale in the shop, as well as some of the other stuff that I make, some belly boards and hand planes.
I would be keen as to get on a short board. Demo one.
I've got my hollow wooden fish in the van, which I'm going to leave with Brewery, I think, for a bit, so you can probably get a shot with him.
Tons, I'm out.
Go for it.
Is he on that session?
I have no idea.
Right,
I'm
well, he's
seeing
not
it.
now. I'll remove him from the system. I would love to try that thing.
Yeah, go for it.
And you got a wee a shout out on Red Bull's live streams recently as well, didn't you? At,
St.
Andrews.
Down at the what was it?
Up the mast.
Up the mast.
Up the
Yeah,
mast.
yeah. You gave me a wee shout out, which was nice. I'm really glad I didn't take part in that. That would have just finished me off. Like,
Genuinely, that water was so. I mean, I didn't go in, and I'm glad I didn't. But that water was so cool. So that was, for anyone listening, Red Bull Up the Mast. They done that event, and it's like a telephone mast that's hanging out over the harbour in St Andrews. And when was that? Like November.
yeah, it was freezing.
I think we had been open, so it was like November, December. So the coldest time of year in the harbour. Ethan, I think he's in the back somewhere here. Did he come second? He might have came second, or he might have won. My son took part, and I was emceeing. I was on the live streams, and you, Swanee, and the crew were there, and I just took full advantage. And I was like, if anyone wants to make wooden surfboards,
thanks very much for the shout out.
No, it's all good. Well, Fraser, absolute pleasure to finally get you on. And look
thank you very
forward
much.
to testing out the boards, and we will talk about them in the outro, which we'll record separately, assuming it went well.
Perfect.
And I've not broke it.
If you've done that, we'll definitely be talking about it.
He'll be in the workshop doing a repair job. There you go.
Well, it's going to take you half an hour, so it's all good.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
Awesome, buddy. Well, cheers for that, Fraser. Again, it's been almost a year since we shot this episode. Can tell you Fraser's doing really well. I know Fraser's sort of battled with injuries in and out of the water quite a lot, and I actually had a surf with him on Friday just gone. We'll get into the surf stuff shortly, but he's doing really well. Pete said it way up at the start, you know, you can come and test and buy his boards at Lost Shore as well, and the experience days that he does, I know a few people now that have gone and done them actually as birthday presents, actually. In fact, Andy Haddon and his brother Scott went away, and they just stayed on his sort of farm grounds, if you like, and Andy had a board built you do it yourself, sort of through tuition with Fraser.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool thing. I don't know how readily accessible that is elsewhere, but it's such a cool thing to be able to do.
I thought, to be honest, I thought you were going to do that for me for my birthday, but it never came to anything. So
Well, no, we'd done the same. Me and Fraser built you a wooden cabinet. I think it's called a coffin. And we can push you out to sea on it for sure. But you know what, man, it's been great. I've wanted to have Fraser on the show for some time as well, so it's so cool to get him on, and I would absolutely love people to go check out what he does, because it is a really cool experience, and he's such a super nice guy and a really good surfer as well. He's so credible on that bloody longboard. He just sends it and throws it. So yeah.
Oh mate, yeah, no, that was a really, really good one, and it's taken a year to get out, but we've still got so many episodes to get out that I feel really bad about, because it's just taken so long, because we ended up messing our year up by going to Boardmasters and Surf and Skate Expo in the middle of the year, and like throwing episodes all over the place. So they are coming out. We are working our way through them, and if you recorded an episode with us ages ago, apologies, it will probably come out at some point.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's also a testament to the growth of the show. Obviously we try to do 2 trips a year, which gives us 2 1-week windows or thereabouts of filming episodes for 6 months. But when we get reached out to by Rising Tides and the Surf and Skate Expo to ask us to come, that's an amazing opportunity that we not only we can't say no to, but we don't want to. We want to be part of it. So it's been super cool, and like you say, threw a little bit of a spanner in the works, but still all the same, these stories are there to be told, and hopefully that's what we're able to do. So again, huge shout to everyone that supported the show, as Pete said before, including the sponsors and the affiliates and everyone else that just enables us. We've said many times in the past, it costs us money to go do these trips, and while it's super fun, it's also super tiring, and it comes out of our pocket for the most part, and we're sort of...
Someone said to me, sorry, just remind me, someone said to me, oh, you must be doing really well, are you making money on the podcast now? I was like, no. It's still, even though we get sponsorship stuff and it pays for like trips and stuff like that, it still costs us money. We still, like, not long ago bought bloody other equipment. We're like, well, if I buy one and you buy one, we're both out of pocket, aren't we?
Yeah, totally. But it covers the trips for the most part, and we appreciate all the support we can get. For two dudes that just we've never tried to be the authority on surfing either. We certainly aren't. We're just 2 absolute wafflers, waffle stompers that just love surfing, and I hope that's clear. So, and I hope that's the thing that makes us relatable as well. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and that includes the listeners and all the super kind messages and DMs that we get, and the aggressive ones. But and even on a sort
Mate,
do
you know what? I was going to say, like the people, like I feel like with the podcast, I've met like actual, I will say something nice about you, include yourself as well, actual good friends through this podcast and doing it. And like, I know we take the piss out of each other, and people are like, do you and Mitch actually like each other? But we talk loads on the phone and everything like that, and I feel like I've actually met like a really good mate in... shame he's Scottish, but yeah, and there's like other people as well, like down here that are more normal to me that I've met. But yeah, it's just I've met some really cool people and like really cool things, and I don't know. I feel like I'm saying goodbye. I feel like it's the last episode. It does
sound like you're saying that for sure, and that's certainly not the case. Yeah. So, no, it's been cool. No. So we'll wrap up the thanks and everything else, because it's starting to sound like a eulogy. We'll get the Far Cabinet Maker coffin sent off to Pete, and he can jump in it and fuck off as soon as he can. Yeah. But talk to us. You mentioned you were having a conversation with a seal.
Oh mate, I went surfing yesterday in Wales, and I was like, just pop over the water, and JB's like, do you want to go to this spot in Wales? And I was like, I've never been there, so let's go and try it. So we went there. Really good. Right, it's like it takes like an hour and 20 minutes from my house. That's all I'm saying about it. Really good spot, and surface spot, and got in there, and I was like, and I was like, what board are you taking? He's like, I'm going to probably take my longboard and it's like a Rasta board, it's like Rastafarian colours, right, and it's like a foamy thing. He's like, I'm going to take those. So I was like, well, I'm going to take my M23, but I might end up using my longboard. And I used his longboard in the end. And I think I want to say it's a JS longboard, JP longboard. I can't remember what it was. It's something like that. And it's a 9-foot longboard. One of the boards, sometimes you get on a board and you go, what's this? I need one of these in my life. Right. He said, he goes, it was a pleasure to watch you longboarding. Like, I surfed really well on the longboard, like popping up really early and everything. Bloody brilliant. And it went in there, started off some real fun, nice waves, probably 3 foot, 4 footy waves. And then it sort of flattened out a bit and got a bit erratic. Tide must have been turning or something like that. And it was like all over the place. And then it got really fucking heavy to the point like it slammed me into the water. Like the wave picked me up. I went to pop up and I was too late, obviously. The wave picked me up, slammed me into the water so hard, it opened my mouth and eyes and just forced water down my throat.
Oh, that's horrible, feeling.
It felt like a chemical burn. Yeah, it felt like a chemical burn in the back of my throat, though. And I was like, I don't know if this water is safe to drink. I know, I only had a couple of pints of it, but it was it definitely wasn't the best.
Did I have that
flavour
feeling
I've ever had.
in my face holes? I think some people call them the eyes. When I smashed my head into a wave, it opened my eyelids so hard. It's like wore myself as a hat almost.
Yeah. Oh mate, but it's the thing. It's in like South Wales, so like you've got like when we went like Rest Bay and stuff, and like we did the bore at the time as well, and washing the wetsuit out, and it's like there's mud and silt in the area there as well, so it's all in like the wetsuit and stuff like that. But I didn't know that I didn't know why I didn't know. There was seals around there, and I'm like JB's like I was surfing JB, and he's like off behind me, so to over my right shoulder. And not that far, like talking distance. Anyway, I looking out and I turn back, like half turn back, and I say something to him and he doesn't react. And I turn back and it's a fucking seal. He's got a wave and I'm talking to a seal and the seal just looks at me and is like, goes like, fucks off. I was like, feet straight up, nope, not having this.
and what you're saying is that the seal had better banter than JB.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, one, the seal had better banter than JB. Two, as soon as I acknowledged the seal, it too buggered off. It's like, I'm not listening to you. Like this.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was such a cool little spot, and I was like, I can't believe it's a spot I didn't even know existed, and I was like, I really liked it. It was a really fun little bay, and really good surf. I had a great time, and it's one of those that's just like, because I felt like I hadn't surfed a lot before Christmas, and then after Christmas I've been to the wave twice now, and then I've like, that's it, and I think I've been in the sea once maybe.
All right, okay.
And I'm like, I just feel like I haven't been surfing that much this year. And then to get back in and have like a good surf in the sea, I was like, fucking brilliant.
Amazing.
Love it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good. What about yourself? What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I mean, I obviously, who knew, but up till maybe, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks max, Kirkcaldy was like, who knew Kirkcaldy was going to end up being the most consistent spot in all of the UK anywhere for the whole of 2026 so far, up till a couple of weeks ago. And I'm sure there was days better elsewhere, no question. But I'm talking every fucking day was overhead and questionable if I was to say surfable, but I still attempted to surf every day. So that's been insane, right? Is
that down to the waves or the ability?
Well, probably a bit of both. The fact that I paddled out on some of them days tells me a lot about my own progression, especially in a spot where there's no one else surfing. That kind of started to die off, and I had to. Well, I didn't have to. I bought some new wheels for my van. Alloys and tires, right, from a company called...
saw the video, mate. Yes. Saw the video.
So a company called Rogue Alloys, right, and I think I mentioned before at Christmas time I discovered Vinted, and I was selling like loads of clothes and whatever on Vinted, and I actually I've sold 1,200 and I think it was £7 last time I checked worth the clothes on Vinted, and the alloys I wanted for my van with tires, £1,200, and I was like, well, do you know what? The stuff I've sold on Vinted, I would just have inevitably binned because I couldn't be arsed with the hassle, probably. And I was like, well, do you know what?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to have that money, and I couldn't justify spending the money on the wheels. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy the wheels with it. And then I was like, I seen a thing and I was like, oh, do you know what? I wonder on Rogue Alloys website or social media, it says, oh, you know, they do a thing every month where you can win the price of your alloys back if you go make some sort of edit. And I was like, well, I'm obviously going to put a lot into that. Like, I'm tight, I'm Scottish, I'm going to fucking put... So I quit my job. No, so I'm like, right, cool. I'm like, right, okay. And they'd sent like a T-shirt with the wheels when they came up. But it all arrived on like, I think the Thursday or something like that. And it was the last day of surf here in Kirkcaldy, or the last surfable day.
Yeah.
But it was probably the worst of the days, like howling wind. It was enormous. And I was like, and I've only got one board with a GoPro mount on it. I kind of don't really do that anymore. And it's my oldest board with like zero traction on it whatsoever.
Which board's that?
It's my old burger fish. I know you just wanted me to say it.
Yeah,
so
burger
I'm like,
fish.
all I need to do, because I've already made the edit, I've done all the stuff with the wheels getting fitted and whatever else. And my local garage were like, the fuck, why have you got a camera? This is not that kind of garage, right? And I was like, all I need to do is take off on a wave, either get a bottom turn or a top turn. And that will be enough. I was like, that's all I have to do. And I went out, and the first wave was a backhand. I only had 2 waves in the whole session. GoPro's rolling or the DJI's rolling. And honestly, both waves were like, take off, terrified at the drop, kick off. Like, get to my feet and kicked off. Because it was awful. There was so much going on. And I was just like, oh, this isn't working. And I thought, maybe I've got enough. And I came back, and it wasn't enough for me to justify putting that in the video. So next couple of days later, St Andrews, first time I've surfed there this year. And I go up there, and your friend, Andy Jameson, who you've never met, but you're happy to slate constantly.
Happy to slate, and happy to make a limerick about him as well.
Are you? All right, well, maybe we'll come back to that. And so it's just me and him, Andy sups. And it wasn't a huge day. Like, it had some size, but it was like machine gun fire. It was relentless. And I've never struggled that much to make it out. And there wasn't really an out back. It was that kind of day. And ended up, I don't know what it was. There was just so much going on. I got, without talking about like the cleanest wave sort of thing, like probably some of the longest rides to the time I'd had. And I was like, well, this is nuts. Yeah. So I was really stoked on it. Anyway, so I got that video, and I went back out for a second session, because when I was like, right, I've got the clip. I was wearing my 6'4" Hyper Freak or Psychotech, right? Which it's too hot for me. I don't need to wear that much. But I'd left my 5'4" at the office at resort. And then I've got a T-shirt on top. I'm on a massive board with no traction at all. And everything about it just made surfing harder. So I was like, I've got the clip. I'm going to go back. I'm going to just get my normal Dominator Pro out and have another surf. Anyway, I'm paddling out and get a couple of waves and end up sort of hooking back up with Andy. He's on his sup, and he's sat kind of beside me. We're just sat waffling shit, right? And this absolute rogue bomb set comes in. And we both start paddling out, right, to try and get over it. But he's still prone, so he's actually just paddling. And he's on a hardboard sup. Obviously, he's on a huge sup, right? So he, on immediate first paddle, he's like 3-4 meters in front of me, then 5-6 meters in front of me. Then the set gets to him, and he goes to duck dive the board, and I was like, no fucking way. Like, fair play. He tries to duck dive his sup, and I'm looking at him thinking, oh, he's actually made it. He's engulfed in whitewater and whatever. This thing was a monster coming through. And I duck dive and come out the other side. I've done that thing where, remember, it was me and you and Yuki when the bomb sets came, and we both tried to scratch over the top, and you actually made it, and I was pretty gutted. I was looking around thinking, like, I am the son of God, the only one that can do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I turn round, Andy's not there. And so I look back to the front, like I look back out to see if he's just shot out and paddled by while I'm duck diving, and I can't see him. And I'm looking everywhere. And dude, honestly, I want to say like, I don't know, 5 to 12 seconds, something like that, before I found him. And it was him resurfacing. Basically, he done a new combo, which for me it's got to be a scoring combo. He went duck dive to longest ride but in reverse, facing the wrong way. His longest wave was during a duck dive, and he just got taken backwards and went with the wave. I was like, I couldn't find them for so long. It was actually impressive. It was so good, man. It was so good.
You just reminded me then, I was having one and like saying like that, and I turned round, same thing like last night, turned round and looked at JB as the wave's breaking, and he's sort of got through it, but he's sat on the board and it's now pulling him backwards, so he's sat going over the falls backwards on his board, and you see him sort of half paddling, and you can just see the look of like confusion and terror of like, what the hell is going on? I'm sort of stuck like in no man's land, stuck. And yeah, it's definitely it's always good. This is why I like surfing with a mate, because it's always good to have someone to laugh at as well.
100%. And then Friday this week gone, I went on a forecast back to East Sands in St Andrews. It wasn't like great winds, and it was a fairly small swell according to the forecast. And I turned up early, kind of probably like everywhere. Like, we've been smashed on the East Coast with like a lot of swell, but a lot of wind recently. So a lot of the sandbanks are just absolutely annihilated. And St Andrews went through a long period at East Sands anyway of low tide started to work, which it didn't used to. Now it's just gone to absolute shit, and it has to push up the beach quite far before it's working again. All the banks have been washed away. There's just rocks exposed. There's no more sand. It's just pretty much rock. It's nuts. So I turn up and I get there and I'm like, and I think a lot of people will have seen the videos that I posted about it. There's this amazing A-frame rolling in, but it's miles away. Like, it's so far down the beach, the camera's zoomed in. So there's always a weird perspective thing there that it's always bigger than it looks, you know? And I was like, there's no one else in. It looked clean, and I'm thinking, it's probably waist high at best, so I might as well go out. Like, I hadn't had as clean a day as that.
And Mitch, that's overhead, guaranteed. Overhead and waist high at best,
thing,
if
right?
you're looking at it.
So as I was getting ready, then a couple of mates turned up in the car park, and they were like, maybe I'll get in. So I head down, right, and I choose my spot that I'm going to paddle out. And honestly, there was still a bit of wind, like offshore, sort of cross-offshore wind. Not brutal, but it was amazingly clean on the faces and these A-frames coming in. And and there was quite a long gap between the sets. And I paddle out, and I managed to do that thing of finding the path of most resistance. Honestly, dude, I must have been.
I think this goes back to I just paddle out straight.
well, there's probably a part of that. In fact, the next bit of the story is probably going to highlight why that's probably true. So, dude, bearing in mind, I was walking down the beach as my mates were kind of arriving, and I am in the water paddling. I must have been paddling and duck diving for 15 minutes. And I swear I could hear shouting, and I couldn't see anyone. And then I come out of, like, I don't know, God knows how many a duck dive, and maybe 30 metres to my left and right. They've all made it out, and they've all just paddled past. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was weird, because where I actually, to be fair to me, where I got in was the path of least resistance. And I guess it just, because it was quite, it was almost like a point break that day. And I was like, cool, I'll paddle around and head across. And then, but it was like, I made it out back anyway, but it was then such an amazing day. It was just like, I didn't need that as a start point for my arms. Was
this the one you rang me and you were like, to say I had the best wave of my life would be an understatement, because the wave after that was even better, the best wave of my life.
So I'll say, in terms of size, definitely been bigger days there, definitely been cleaner days there. And maybe I've had a couple of rides that have been close to the length of rides, right? But for all of that to line up and be the same, it was like a wave garden. It was so fucking mechanical, dude. Honestly, it was maybe just overhead, maybe, but it was like the longest peeling waves I've seen. And there was only 4 of us or 5 of us. A couple more joined a bit later, but I think it's that thing of kind of the end of the swell periods, like for a lot of swell. So maybe people are burnt out. Maybe people aren't thinking it was going to be that good. It was the best day I have ever surfed anywhere. And it was like, can I get the wave of my life? And it's just like up and down. And I think to try and relate it to sort of Lost Shore surfing to there, whilst I have absolutely refined my surfing and progressed so much because of Lost Shore, I've realised when I'm surfing there at Lost Shore, you kind of always surfing quick and you just try to do something, and because of just the way the wave is, it's not like you have loads of time to just hold on to a turn, for example, a bit longer than you want to. So I've not really been doing I can't do a proper cutback in the pool because I feel like when I start to face the shoulder, I feel like, fuck, if I don't turn back round and go down the line again, I'm going to lose all my speed and I'll just fall off the back. So I never complete a roundhouse cutback. But I went for it on the first wave that I took off on, and I was like, normally at the point where I'd go, oh, I'm coming back round, I was like, just keep holding it. You know, I just kept holding it and holding it and holding it, and then I came out of it and then done the same again. I was like, oh my fucking God, that's what it feels like. And I'd done the thing like I was like a child at the end of the wave, like whooping and hollering and claiming it. But then again, the next wave after it, the next wave after that, the next wave after that was just perfect. I was like, fuck, this is insane. Like,
do you know what the highlight, the best part of this is? Like you said earlier, you've taken all your GoPros off and everything. So everyone had to endure the GoPro footage while you were shit. Now you've got better. Totally. And you can actually do stuff. You're like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want them on my board anymore.
Well, do you know what it is? It's because this is going to sound like proper pretentious bell end. But the O'Neill sticker's so big and it's a nose sticker, I can't get the GoPro mount on there. That's why I took them off.
Oh dear.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's true.
do you remember when Mitch used to be on the UK Surf Show? Oh, that was a good time for a while. Mate. So yeah, it was. I mean, I've had great fun. As I say, I went back to the wave, and I think the last one, the next day we recorded, I was going to the wave again, and I took a one of their 7-foot foamies out. I had such a good time. It was just real fun time on it, just like refining stuff again and like getting back into it and everything like that. But mate, it's been brilliant. And then I came home and there was on my doorstep there was a nice little a Cookville beanie that nice. I'm now sporting. Yeah.
That's looking very smart.
Yeah, you probably didn't get one because of your luscious locks and you don't wear hats. But you know, apart from that,
no.
Yeah,
to hide it in there.
You never wear hats.
Speaking of which,
I know, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see that that dodgy Tash has gone as well.
Oh, dude, Special K's got no idea of taking it off yet. She's going to go nuts.
She's got to, because I saw a video of you on Lost Shore talking about airwaves and
yeah. Mate,
you know,
100%, she won't have noticed. Guarantee it.
Amazing.
Speaking of your new clothes, I've actually got a little gift here for you. In fact, I've got two. So
I got a gift here for you as well.
Lost Shore conducted a poll.
Yeah.
And it turns out you're the winner, and the prizes here are for you, and it's for the biggest waffle stomper that ever happened. So here's the first one. I wish I hadn't unfolded this, but here you go. Here's a nice long-sleeved, pretty smart.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
Really cool. Got
That's
you in
nice.
black.
Yeah,
Sadly,
I like that one.
they only do like up to 22 XLs. So
right.
And also,
so it might be a bit tight then.
Yeah, maybe a bit tight. And there's one more here for you. Jumper as well. It's like a stone washed sort of grey thing. So there you go. Lost Shore.
I like it. I like it. Look, and I'm already got. Look at this as well.
So,
hey?
as do I, actually, as it happens. And speaking of Lost Shore.
Speaking of airwaves,
next week, actually, tomorrow is when this comes out. From tomorrow, Monday to Friday, we are opening up the air session, which I am absolutely stoked about. Not normally a public session unless you want to book the entire pool, or you are some sort of event. Again, needs to book the entire pool.
Question?
Yes.
How many can you have on it at a time?
So we normally put 3 people on, but it's only one side of the pool. There's many reasons, but it's a 90-second-ish wait between waves.
Right.
So next week we're opening it up, see how it goes. And I just think I was actually looking at it earlier because I was already committed that I was going to go try the airwave. And this is hilarious because this
you practice that thing that looked like you're going to do a massive air. Now all you've got to do is hit the section and you're going in the air.
Well, this is the thing. So it's crazy, and this probably really sums up my surfing. And for anyone, we chat about problems with pop-ups and stuff like that a lot. And again, I've said this before, but for anyone that doesn't have an issue with a pop-up, and they hear people like me or anyone talking about problems with pop-ups, they must in their head be like, dude, it's just a fucking pop-up. What's the problem? They probably don't get how big a restriction it is. So here's my issue, right? I have been looking at the airwave going, I have no idea, right, firstly, how to do it in air. And on a lot of the sessions I surf at the minute, I try and boost. I get as much speed as I physically can pumping along the line. And that feels amazing in itself. I get to the end, and call it an end section, and I end up just kicking off. Because I do not have a fucking clue what to do. And often I kick off really fast, or sometimes I'll just jump off the board. Like, and the board doesn't even break the lip. So
you got Craig there at the Lost Shore that surfs that wave all the time. Just go to him. What do I do?
So, well,
surely he'll tell you.
Yeah. So back to the pop-up. Back
to your actual point.
Back to the actual point. So I am content, especially with the airwave, because if you've not seen it, what happens is they push a normal wave, which is obviously a bit punchier for allow you to get speed, and it's wallier, and then a second wave pulses out of the machine further down the line, so you get a wave. It's not quite a right angle, but you get the idea. It creates a ramp section, so obviously you boost off of that. So I'm content if I can make it to that with some sort of speed. I can go above the lip. More than likely what will happen, think of it like I'm riding
the back of the wave.
No. More like think of it as I'm riding a skateboard and that lip is a curb. It would be me hitting the curb and nose diving. That's probably what would happen. But I'm like, I could happily try and take off. Wouldn't know what to do after that. But my problem is still the pop-up. And having looked at the wave today, in fact, I was about to say, if you look on Lost Shore socials now, because I posted a story of somebody boosting on it, but that's like, by the time this comes out 3 days ago, so you won't see that. But anyway, the pop-up looks proper gnarly. Like, the takeoff is fast, it's wally. The team were saying it was tricky. So I'm like, the reason I don't do the high-performance wave is because I know I won't be able to get to my feet, and it's just not worth the hassle. So so this is my point. I'm not worried about trying to boost above the lip. I'm worried about my pop-up on the wave, which should tell you a lot about a
I suppose the thing about that thing is, because it's like one wave, if you fuck the takeoff, you ain't got that far to paddle back. You're just like right there. So because you got loads of time.
I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing people come in and try it, because it's not something you're normally going to get to try. So it'd be really cool to see. I've got some pros in the pool as well, and that should be just super fun. I really want to try it. I do want to try it.
Well, I think we've waffled on for long enough now. We've done 30 minutes or whatever, something like that of extra time onto this thing. But we've got a couple of other bits to go through as well. Also, the gift I've got for you, which is up the back here, which is a nice little sliding glide. And Mr. Gary Holland of Gary Holland Photography,
hello, Gary.
as I think they're selling them in the Wave Project shop at the moment. But I was like, what is it? And it goes over your hands or your feet. And it's basically, I'm going to say this as a glorified plastic bag. It's probably not the correct advertising slogan. It's not plastic either. But it's, you put it on. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll give that a go. And put my wetsuit on and just straight in. And I was like, that's actually really good.
Oh, no way.
That's actually really, really impressed with it. So I got one of these here for you as well. And you put them on, slide and glide. They sell them on the Wave Project shop at the moment. And I think some of the money goes towards Wave Project, And really cool little thing to help you get your wetsuit on and off.
I'll be looking forward to testing that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Just because we were mentioning Lost Shore as well. We have got a springboard sale on, so go check out Lost Shore's shop as well. You could get some ex-demo boards and all that sort of stuff. Plenty happening in there. Yeah. Got plenty of coaching weekends coming up for all abilities, literally from beginner to improver to kids improvers and advanced coaching weekends. There's so much going on, so check that out. And some of them are inclusive of accommodation as well. So totally check that out for sure.
And what would you do if you wanted to, book a surf or a stay at Lost Shore? Is there anything else you'd do while you were doing that?
Well, I'd definitely use the UK Surf Show discount code, which would be UK Surf Show 15. I'm guessing that's where you were going with that. That's not where I was going. And there was, just one before I forget, any veteran surfers, especially if you're part of a veteran surf club, please reach out to me. I have some quandary-styled questions for you and something that might be of interest. So please reach out. Something pretty exciting potentially happening. Do have a question for the listeners as well.
Yeah.
My Dominator Pro, my one board quiver, favourite board. I've never had a board like it, honestly. I got it as a 6.0, which is slightly bigger than a lot of the boards I normally ride. However, it's a lot less volume and it's obviously much more performance-y. But again, you don't have to be a pro to ride it, hence why I'm riding it. I'm loving it. What I realised over this sort of period of so much big swell was that it didn't quite have enough to get me in, taking into account my pop-up. I kind of felt like a little bit more length and volume would help me get into waves earlier. So I'm curious to hear from people what they think about me getting the exact same board just as a 6.2, and obviously that would have a couple of more litres. Kind of the reason me going 6.0 a little bit bigger was because I felt like it would make me hold my turns longer and it would make me think about it, and I feel like that's what it's doing. But I'm curious as what people's thoughts are about a bigger version of the same thing.
I think you should look at the Skin Dog 9 foot.
That sums up Pete's info all the time.
Yeah. But also we should shout out a thought we did before. I can't remember. We did it on socials, and I actually saw him and his family in the pub in Bude, and that's Isaac, and he is doing surfing every day for a year for children in need, and he's on Instagram, and I think he's on. At the moment, he's got to be close to day 60 now or something like that. And he's going every day for a year. And it's raising money for children in need. So if you can find him on Instagram, Isaac Friend, I think
it is,
yeah.
Was it not? Did he not start doing it? And it was just for the month of January when it started. Is that how it started? And he's moved it on to the year.
No, he was always doing every day for a year. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So go and give him a follow, and show some support. Give him a follow, share his content. Everything. If you can't donate, everything will help to push that and push it out to more people.
For legal reasons, he wasn't drinking alcohol in the pub.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was. He was having a meal with his family.
Okay, maybe he was. And I wanted
It's 2 lines of Ribena.
I wanted to chat about Chinese food from the Japanese.
That's because you had whatsits in your Chinese. You were telling Japanese. You were telling me
when I moved to Kirkcaldy where I live. Right, it's one of them. Like, I think most people will probably appreciate either not having a good Chinese or even a takeaway. Right, it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, you need to know which one's good, which one's shit. And it took me a long time.
Yeah.
And actually, there was one right literally on the end of my door, and it ended up being one of the best ones I've ever had. It was insane, this Chinese. Anyway, out of nowhere, it just shuts down. It doesn't shut down, sorry. It got new ownership, completely new owners in. And I go in, and it's shit, right? The food's just gone to shit. It's different people cooking, obviously, so it's different. It was awful. Yeah. Recently, it got taken over. It's now a Japanese, right? And I was like, well, I'm a huge curry fan. And I know this becomes its own debate of, well, Chinese curry is not curry. It's got to be Indian curry. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I like Chinese curry. I also like Indian curry. But I prefer a Chinese curry. So I go in, maybe a month ago, I think, was the first time I tried it. And the curry, oh, man.
You've been every night since.
I've been a lot, right? I've been a lot. The curry is mind-blowingly good. I'm talking, honestly, mind-blowing. I never really get why Japanese always have... eggs and everything, but hey, good protein, I'll take it. But the thing is, the only thing is, it's never been the same twice, and I reckon I've been at least 10 times in that month, right? It's never been the same twice, and it's still the same curry sauce, but there's always something new in it. Like the other day, I had avocado. That's why we got in this conversation, because you were talking about something you had with avocado or some shit, and I was like, my curry had avocado in it, but it was almost like every time they go in the back of the shop, and as I'm going to say as well, I didn't tell you this, but I've sat in that shop, I've placed my order, been a bit time constrained because I had stuff to do, and then there's been times where I've sat in there for 45 minutes waiting to get it, not because they're too busy, but because the owner also doubles up as one of the delivery drivers. He takes his phone with him when he goes on deliveries, obviously for his sat nav, and that phone, they've got the contactless payment. The app is built into his phone, so when he's not there, they can't take contactless payments, right? I've sat in there for so fucking long. But I swear to God, right, when they've sort of made the curry, they're in the back going, right, we need to garnish this. What have we got? And he's there like rifling through boxes of Kellogg's Crave and shredded wheats and all sorts of stuff. And they're just, every time it's different. I'm like, the curry's just as good, but just give me the same fucking one. Oh man,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was it. That's what we were going on about on the
Yes.
phone. Whatsits and quavers in it and
Whatsits
everything.
quavers.
But mate, yeah, I've had some good surfs lately, and you've had some good surfs by the sound of it. Thanks to Fraser Fire Cabinet Makers for, coming on, and we're sorry it took so long to get out. We've still got others that are going to take even longer to go out, so don't feel bad about it. And we should probably mention TIKI, because they've been a massive sponsor of the show as well. 150 episodes now, and thanks to them for sponsoring and supporting us. I think we may have a word from Rosie, or one of them, right now, which we can drop in if we have. And if we did, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, totally. And if you do want to get a discount on any TIKI gear minus boards, use the discount code UK Surf Pod 25, and that'll get you 10% off at TIKI. Reminder of Lost Shore as well. UK Surf Show 15 will get you 15% off surf and accommodation.
Yeah, and TIKI is still doing UK Surf Ship 25, and that will get you free shipping if you buy a surfboard off them. And don't forget, obviously, Mr. Cookville, and that's UK Surf Show 10. That'll get you 10% off there. So yeah, and that's all the discount codes we have now, and hopefully we'll see you next time for, I don't know if it's I do know who it is next time. I'm going to tell you who it is right now, because I've already decided. It is Ad Surf next.
All right, okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
But anyone wondering, we've got some complex ones coming up. And not complex in terms of what's been said, complex in some audio errors.
And some video errors.
Possibly.
Anyway, see you later.
Toodles.